You've talked about boards and trustees. Um, I know you said the other day that you've never turned to a trustee. You've still got at least one daughter who uses her cell phone in class in grade 12. That was a funny story. But, you know, my kids are all out of the system now. But when they were younger, I was on parent council for a while. I did talk to trustees. I didn't find them particularly effective. And while on a very core personal belief system in how politics should run, I believe that it should be the smallest and closest to the people form of democracy that we have, and that starts with school boards. But our trustees are not effective at representing people. Um, how close are you to saying this is something that we need to do away with? You seem angry about it, but are you there yet?
As I said, I haven't provided advice to cabinet yet, and I was hoping that I'd be in a position by the end of the year to do so. But there has literally nothing that leads me to believe that continuing on with school trustees to deliver on a $43 billion education system is the best way to do this. I've said this over and over. This was a system that was created in the one room schoolhouse era. We are no longer there. And when I look at how our supervised boards are able to move, um, I told the story the other day of one of our supervised boards in Toronto, where the director of education showed me a desk full of paperwork. And it was 5 years worth of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Our supervisor was able to make a decision in 45 minutes, saving the board 5 years of grief that they'd have gone through, over $1.5 million to not make a decision. And he said that 45-minute decision by that supervisor is helping kids now. The system moves much quicker.
And you're
And
also stopping foolishness like renaming boards based on politics rather than actual historical accuracy and literacy. Um, it's
hundreds of
incredibly
thousands
frustrating.
just to decide whether we should keep the name of a school. And somehow that should continue. Like, come on, like we got to give our heads a shake. You're gonna get me all fired up because look, as a parent still, uh, uh, I pay a lot of attention, and I'm just like anybody else, right? I want the best for my kid. I want them to succeed. I want her to succeed, and I've been lucky that we've been able to help a lot. But that shouldn't be the system that we have, right? It should be you have an expectation of success, and that wasn't always the case for us. When I was young, my parents didn't speak, didn't write English very well. When I went to school, I spoke Italian in kindergarten, so uh, it was a different system that allowed me to be successful. I'm not sure that's the case any longer today.
The expectation of success, I think, is a lot different than what it was. I've never been in favor of getting rid of the Catholic boards and merging into a single board system or having um, you know just one giant board for the whole province. In part because I worry what the Ministry of Education will do with that much power. But do you need to consolidate? Do you need to uh, shrink down? How do you manage that and still look after the constitutional obligations that you have with regard to Catholic separate education and Francophone education?
Yeah, I am. I'm definitely not going to merge the boards into one big super board and get rid of the Catholic system. Frankly, at its heart, I like the competition between the two boards. Frankly, at the very least, I think it's healthy in the system, it's not something that I'm looking at. I'm also not looking at merging school boards and getting rid of school boards. When I've looked at other jurisdictions that have gone to the one board system, it is also not an effective way of delivering on education. So what I'm looking at now is maintaining the school boards, all of them as they exist today. Obviously, changing the governance model with respect to the potential elimination of trustees. Um, Respecting the French and the Catholic. We're doing that right now in the two boards that we're supervising, the Toronto Catholic District and the Dufferin Peel Catholic. Whilst the trustees at the public system are, for all intents and purposes, laid off, the Catholic trustees remain available to us for strictly denominational issues that might arise. We're doing that actually in the next few days in Toronto because the school has to be named, and in the Catholic system, it is the responsibility of the school board and the trustees to name schools. So I think we can we can meet the moment with respect to protecting the constitutional and charter rights of the French and Catholic systems, while renewing the governance model across all of the systems, but not eliminating the boards. I think they do perform an important local function, frankly, and I think it's valuable to keep them, to continue with them.